Milton Keynes is a tiny village in the heart of North Buckinghamshire. At the moment, about 200 people live here, and it's basically a farming community. But it's not going to stay that way for very much longer. If all goes according to plan, by the middle of the 1980s, this village will have become a part of the largest new town ever built in Britain. And that town will take its name from Milton Keynes. It's estimated that by the end of the century, about 250,000 people will live here in Milton Keynes. The new town will engulf about 22,000 acres around here. It'll swallow up countless small villages, about 100 farms, as well as larger towns like Bletchley, Stony Stratford and Wolverton. Not surprisingly, the plan has come in for a good deal of criticism. And the Ministry of Housing official who was sent down here to investigate complaints himself said that he personally had doubts about the wisdom of building on as large a scale as this. But what do the people of Milton Keynes themselves think?
I think it's ridiculous.
Why?
Well, because there are several other, in fact there are hundreds of places, thousands of places where they could go or not upset agriculture, which is a thing that will be very necessary in the near future.
Do you think there will be compensations in terms of better roads, better facilities, better jobs perhaps?
I don't think so. What's wrong with our roads?
Well, it's a waste of time, I reckon. This is a good farming ground. Why don't they go somewhere else where there isn't no farming ground, not far away?
Do you think it'll change the identity of the village at all?
Yes, I do.
How?
Well, being Londoners down here, we just don't like them. We're country bred and born, and we like the country as it is.
Won't there be some compensations, and then it'll provide perhaps better job facilities around here?
Well, the unemployment figure around here is one of the lowest in the country. It's only about 0.2%, I think.
Well, personally, I'm very disappointed, upset, really. 4 years ago, I came to live here to get away from a city, and now it looks as though I'm going to live either in one or very near one. And although I appreciate that Londoners, and there is this terrific overspill problem, I do think a more suitable part of the country could have been found.
What about compensation?
Well, I imagine that as far as the freeholders around here are concerned, that they're fairly adequately covered by the government. But I do feel that the tenant farmers are in a very, very difficult position. And unless the present Act is modified, they are likely to suffer considerably.
Will you personally stay here in Milton Keynes?
It's too early to say. We've got to see the detailed plans. I've got to find out whether I'm going to have a factory near my back garden or a nice open space park or something. But at present, I'm just leaving it open.
Are you personally in favour of the scheme?
Oh, yes, definitely.
You are?
Yes.
You like the idea of a town
I think
here?
it's a grand name, too.
We live in a very overcrowded country. Isn't it inevitable in a way that these buildings have to come and they have to come here?
Oh, yes. And we don't wish to keep all the good things of our life to ourselves at all. But at the same time, if there is this rather rural spot on the outskirts of the great city, it will be available for them to come and visit and walk through and drive through. And we don't propose to put up gates to tell them to keep out at all.
In some ways, won't the town do more good than harm in terms of more opportunities, better homes and so on?
The town, certainly. Yes.
People living around here, won't they perhaps get better jobs in the new area?
There's no doubt at all that the new town is necessary and people must find somewhere to live. And we have never in Calverton wished to put any obstacle in the way of what concerns the good of the country as a whole. Merely in this instance, we pointed out to the minister that we had rather a large proportion of very small family farmers here, one-man farmers, whose livelihood couldn't be foreseen if they were dispossessed, as they might possibly be dispossessed. Financial compensation wouldn't cover it.
Why do we need a vast new town at Milton Keynes?
Well, because, you know, in the next 20 years or so, there's going to be another 1 million Londoners that have to move out of London. And Bucks wants to make its contribution in a planned way, rather than have them sprawled all across the southern end of the county.
Will Milton Keynes be a commuter town?
Oh, I hope not. No, I think this is going to be a self-contained town. It'll be a city in which one can live and work and play and enjoy life, I would hope.
Why this part of Buckinghamshire particularly?
Well, it's a jolly good part. It's about equidistance between the Birmingham conurbation and London. Industrialists seem to like it. They think it'll be prosperous. And I think if you're going to have a good town, people have got to have good pay packets. They want to enjoy life. And I think it's got to be economically sound.
What's the next step now?
Well, as I understand it, the Minister will, of course, appoint a new towns corporation. Then it'll be up to them.
Why will Londoners get priority in housing here at Milton Keynes and not people from Buckinghamshire itself?
Well, at the moment, of course, we're still building in other parts of Buckinghamshire. Our need for overspill will be in a few years' time, but London's need is pressing. The Minister wants to get on, I imagine, and get Londoners housed quickly.
How soon will this town be ready to live in?
Well, of course, that's a matter, again, for the New Towns Corporation. But I would have thought with all the techniques we know about today, one could make a rapid start and build it fairly quickly.
Is it likely that this area will provide enough work for the people who are going to come and live here?
Yes, I would have thought so. We paid a lot of attention to this, and we spoke to a lot of industrialists, and they all thought in this part of the country, a new town would go like a bomb.
What about the cost? I've heard £400 million mentioned as one estimate.
Oh yes, when we were ourselves preparing a design for this town, we came to the conclusion that for £400 million you could build a new city with all kinds of new and up-to-date amenities in it. That's about the cost anyway.
The new town will have a number of town centres inside it. Won't this create vast transport problems?
Oh no, not necessarily. It's bound to be multi-centred. You see, it contains two thriving towns, Bletchley, Stony Stratford, and they've got good town centres at the moment, and one can't kill them. I would have thought an absolutely essential part of the plan. And I think the Minister's right when he says these towns have got to be retained, they've got to remain prosperous, they've got to have an identity of their own.
Dorian Williams, as master of the Wadden Hunt, this new town will come very close to your territory. How do you feel about it?
Well, it will in fact take a considerable slice out of our territory, a territory that we've hunted for very many years in this area. And we shall not only lose that, but of course the very nearness of the town to the rest of the country will create certain problems without any doubt.
Where in fact will the boundaries of the town be?
Well, they come right up to what in fact is the horizon there. That is called Oak Hill, and the new town will come up to the edge of there, just over the horizon, and right round to Shenley, taking in Shenley, which is the next village over there towards the east.
Does that mean you could no longer hunt in this area?
Well, obviously we won't be able to hunt where the new town is, but it will be difficult to hunt near to the new town, because when you get a large new urban establishment, there are bound to be difficulties in the area. There's a whole change in attitude from the country to the town.